know if I got last year's, but he does, at the end of the year, they give us a report of how much they take in and after the state takes their money, how
Right.
much they have. So I do have record of that, of how much they do, revenue they do bring in.
Right,
So
I-
if you wanna see that, I can
Well,
show you.
okay, I appreciate that, because in our proposed budget, the revenues coming in barely cover just the
Right,
justice
right.
salary, and I'm like, this is like, why are we gonna spend money out of our pockets?
If you want, when you
Yeah,
get time, come in
I'd-
and take a look at them.
I'd like a critical look at those, because if, what's the sense of us spending money if we're not gonna make any money? And we should seek options. On the same note, I'd like us to write the county and see why our reimbursement is short of what it costs us to maintain the roads. According to Art, where we don't make money, and I believe him because he knows what it costs, and it's my understanding that the money they give us per mile is not much different than it was when they had the board of supervisors. He said it was $5,000. John Thayer told me it was $5,000 like 5-6 years ago. It hasn't gone up.
It was, before that, it was like just over $2,000, and they made a real big jump to the $5,000 number, and it stayed there for a while. And then just recently, within the last year or two, they did start bumping up a little bit.
But you're
We should
thinking,
see that continue.
Was
yeah,
that there?
We should see that continue. The county costs are decreasing a little bit because of Medicaid help. So,
well, I mean, we should ask, because the squeaky wheel always gets a little grease. And if we should at least bring it up so they know we know we're not making any money.
Well, they know it, they know it.
well, and all of you sort of lobby together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, highway superintendent, we had a meeting. Like I say, we're not the worst off, definitely not the worst off, but we're not the best off neither, you know what I'm saying? So, it's a losing proposition, especially, 1 year like last year you may say was an easy winter. Yep, you might have broke even, maybe come out frog your head, don't know. I didn't remember. But if we have a normal winter, it's not a win situation.
We're losing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, if the county was going to plow the roads, we think taxes are high now.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, maybe we should ask them. So that's just the thought here that I have. And last item I have is, to my knowledge, we still haven't sent the money back to the contractors that put in bid, that asked for bid packages. Is that correct? It's 10 months later. What do we have to do? Can I come over and lick stamps and put checks in envelopes if that's what it's gonna take?
Well, I called this, after we talked about this last time, I called the Association of Towns. I was told that there should be a resolution to give this money back, okay? There also has to be a budget amendment made to cover the reimbursement, because the reimbursement was not in the budget. And I was told by the Association of Towns to call the comptroller's office, which this is where I'm getting the information from. They gave me the number, and they asked me if I write the checks for the town, and I said no. And she said, if you do not write the checks, it's not your responsibility, it's the supervisors or the bookkeepers if you have one. And they have to be vouchered out. So they have to be vouchered out. There has to be a resolution to transfer money in the budget, because there's no money in the budget to pay for them.
How
I-
long have we known about this?
The problem is that the money came in one way, and now we need to pay it out another. And
Okay.
so, like, Kelly doesn't have the individual names and amounts of the people who need to be handled.
But Linda, you do, right?
I've got them all, and I put them on the computer, and they're ready for Kelly whenever she wants them.
So do
But-
we turn those into vouchers?
They have to be turned, from what they said, needs to be done by vouchers, audited by the town board.
So has Kelly explained why she hasn't done it or can't do it?
No, she hasn't said anything to it, why she can't do it, but then the board has to go ahead and do this with the budget.
So it becomes a
And
paper
it has
voucher.
to, but it has to be, amendment has to be made in the budget to cover the transfers, to cover the reimbursement, and it has to have a resolution done by the board in order to do
I
it.
thought we had
So
to
there
We
you
did that
go,
in
you need a
February.
resolution to pay him back, and
that
you
in
also
February.
need a budget transfer.
That's probably what she's waiting for, she can't do it unless we have a resolution. and-
I don't know what it is.
No, we
but
made a resolution.
We have a resolution.
Or transfer
We've,
the money.
we've asked, I will talk to Kelly about this.
It just looks silly, like, 10 months to try to get this done. Okay, I'm done. Thank you, everybody.
Any other comments? Ready? Great. Okay, moving on to resolutions and motions. This is a really exciting day because these are really important things that are happening. I don't have actual resolutions in front of me.
On the right-hand side, Sarah, there are the resolutions and the stuff that goes with them right behind them. What's that? Yeah, the one is marked, because I couldn't find a blank one, but the first one is 62. This is resolution 62. And if I'm not mistaken, Neil made the motion on it.
Introduce it.
I introduced it,
Yeah.
yeah.
You introduced it, yeah.
Okay, so would you like to make the motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution to approve non-commercial wind turbine generators laws. Whereas after the relation of town, a Palatine Planning Board and attorney for the town, Gregory T. Dunn, it was determined that the current local law regulating the use of wind turbines did not clearly distinguish between commercial and non-commercial wind turbines. And whereas the town of Palatine, the planning board, and the attorney for the town recommended that said law be amended to make clear and/or distinguish between said turbines. And whereas the town of Palatine, the planning board approved revisions to said local law after receiving input from residents of the town of Palatine open planning board meeting and 2 public workshops after reviewing existing wind turbine laws from multiple New York State municipalities, after participating in presentations by NYSERDA, and after considering information from non-commercial wind turbine industry representative and experts from the Montgomery County Planning Board. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the town of Palatine, said the proposed law entitled Non-Commercial Wind Turbine Generators Law and attached hereto be referenced by hereby adopting the new law.
You, Neil?
Are you seconding it? Oh, ready?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, actually, we need a roll call vote.
I'm sorry?
We need a roll call vote.
Okay, Sarah,
Aye.
Betty, Chris,
Aye.
Neil,
Aye.
Hank,
Aye.
all approved. Now this has to get to Greg. Now, you want me to fax him this to get him to do the local law?
Yes,
Okay.
Just like in high school in the film.
Sorry, Sarah, we just have to just take it over. Buddy.
Okay, moving on to resolution number 63.
Sponsored by you.
Hank, would you like to make the motion?
You gotta get a copy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Whereas this would be number 63, whereas after due deliberation, the Town of Palatine Planning Board has recommended to the Town of Palatine Planning Board, Palatine Town Board, a proposal to amend local law 1 of 2008, section 3, and local law 1 of 2008, being itself an amendment of local law 1 of 1997. And whereas the Town of Palatine Planning Board has recommended that the second sentence of section 3 of local law 1 of 2008, entitled Powers and Duties, which reads, the alternate members of the Town Planning Board shall serve only in the place instead of planning board members who cannot participate due to a conflict of interest. That should be stricken and replaced by of. An alternate planning board member shall be designated to serve by the chairperson of the planning board as a substitute for a member when such member is unable to participate because of a conflict of interest on an application or matter before the board, be amended as follows. The chairperson of the planning board may designate an alternate member of the town planning board to serve in the place instead of a planning board member when a planning board member abstains from participation to avoid a conflict of interest. That's another typo. On a matter or an application before the board. A planning board member is absent from the meeting. A vote is required to make a quorum or a planning board seat is vacant. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Palatine that the second sentence of section 3 of local law 1 of 2008 entitled Powers and Duties be amended as set forth above, and the said amendment be adopted as local law as of the date below. Roll call vote.
Nicely done.
And a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Sarah?
We have to-
Oh, wait.
Sarah?
Aye.
Betty?
Aye.
Chris?
Abstain?
You abstain?
Yes.
Okay. Neil?
Aye.
And Hank?
Aye.
Okay, 4 in favor and 1 abstain.
So then you vote on it if you like on the board?
Uh,
No, legally. You could decide.
Well, since I made the motion, it's a little unfair.
Yeah. He made the motion, you
Yeah.
gotta really vote on
You can mark me down as abstaining.
it. You wanna abstain then?
Yeah.
All right, we still have a quorum in here.
Yeah.
I believe
Alright.
it directly affects my action. If you were sick.
Yes.
We don't, this would be resolution
Put a
number,
rifle action on the
I think it's 64, but let me check, resolution 64.
Okay.
So on the agenda, I'm gonna move the St. John's Building Banjo contracts to the bottom. Now we're looking at the hazard mitigation plan.
Madam Supervisor, I think we should have had a deeper look at this before having it popped on us so rapidly.
Okay, we don't have to approve it tonight. There's no reason. We could do it next month. Did you get forward from me with the plan attached?
No.
No, that's the problem. I would agree with Hank as well.
So you haven't seen the plan attached?
No, have not.
Okay.
Such I have seen right here.
Yeah.
Can we table it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So, Olive? Yeah? I need my phone. Okay.
No,
I will get that to you right now.
I actually read it.
Oh, did you?
I've got it off the Montgomery County website.
Okay.
I have a lot of reservations about it, and I think we may need some guidance from the county on it.
Okay. I mean, the plan is basically, at this point, completed. I participated in the planning meetings. The town of Palatine, I think we did 3 different meetings last year. it was a long process that included all of the towns and a lot of thought from the planning board, the Montgomery County Planning Department went into it. They hired a consulting firm to provide input, and when we met with Jeff Smith, I think we talked to Artie, I just had one conversation with you, but because we're not in the floodplain, we were literally sort of scratching our heads trying to think of, what could we ask for here? So their solution for us was to include us as a general narrative, and generally they're asking for FEMA inclusion across the board on things like, whether it's an earthquake or a flood, having resources, and some of the areas in the county get a lot of attention because they're in the floodplain. I know there's less so. Palatine is one because we're not in the floodplain.
So that was one of my questions. I wanted to see the flood map to see if we had any contiguous land in the floodplain at all.
We did, when we looked at it, and when I met with Jeff, there was,
No.
but anyway, I'll get that to you, and there's no rush to approve it.
Okay, all right, thank
Did
you.
we get do we need a second to table it? She made a
I'll
motion.
second.
Was there ever a second on it?
No, I'll second it.
No, there was no, we don't even have to table it.
I mean,
There was no-
we don't even need it, do we
No.
just have to have a motion made to table it?
We don't even have to.
Okay.
Because nobody made the motion to approve it.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
We're still gonna keep it number 64, or just wipe that off too?
Wipe that off.
Wipe
because
that
of-
off too, okay.
All right, moving on to the fire contracts. So both jurisdictions are asking for more than the tax cap. So we could go along, it's a small amount. It's not a huge, to go with the amounts that were proposed, would not, break our budget in any way, but would grow in outside the cap. So, and I am concerned because also this works exponentially, so a small amount, you keep doing 4%, it gets big quickly. So I passed around, do you guys have the version with the,
Yeah.
with my scratch marks?
Yes.
There were two. There's only one.
Let's, once you read them off what you proposed, is it okay if you read off what you proposed?
Well, it's just, that's what the math I did, is at, 0.19%. So it's under 2%.
Okay.
Hold on.
It's just a number.
I'm confused.
No, nobody has it.
Oh,
No,
you're,
that's the
You only
Canada
have-
Harry. That's the Canada Harry.
okay, that's the Canada Heritage.
You only have in front of you what the jurisdictions
Th-
wrote.
Those figures you have are should-be figures, and what they have is what they would like figures, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
In other words, it's like it's a real estate action. They proposed 32,256, we proposed 31,850.
It's never been done before. We usually have just approved it.
Would we have time to do any negotiating with them without allowing this to expire? I certainly wouldn't want that to happen.
Well, that doesn't happen until January 1, right?
Okay, we have a little bit of time.
They are on each. I mean,
Yeah, they're good till the end of the year. What they are, they expire at the end of the year, the last day of this year.
Do we prepay these items?
They have to be paid by March 1st.
Are they allowed to, well, I guess they would be allowed to stick this to expenses over the tax cap, because they're not moving their cognizance.
Well, actually, I'd like to know why they feel they need a 4% increase.
Well,
I mean, it may be there's a huge difference, but I feel really strongly about approving something when no one's here to discuss it with us.
and someone's mentioned that there may be a quality issue in the sense that some of these departments aren't well staffed in the daytime, I don't know.
Well, you know what,
I've heard
it's,
that.
it's volunteer, but, and they've done fine service, but I would really like to know, when you send us a piece of paper and you just put a figure in there, why, I'd like to hear that. And not only that, we haven't even gotten the Freda one, and if I remember last year, they sent it at the last minute, and it had to be either an approval or not approval without discussing it. And I remember it got,
The three that we already did last year. Yeah, the only two that we have.
oh, we
is
don't
this.
have to do Freda for
No.
this year?
Not
Yeah, I
this
thought
year.
we had a
No.
multi-year contract.
Okay.
It's usually 3 years, 3 years, sometimes it's 4 years. But a grade is okay.
I do
think
remember
these
it
are
was at the
only two.
last minute though.
Yes,
It was
it
at the
was
last
the last
minute of the
minute.
year.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this is cute because there's an escalator built into a contract. You know.
Is there a chance we could get a representative from each one of these departments here to discuss this at the next meeting? Is that a possibility?
I think we did a yearly contract in the past with Canville.
Yeah, we've done, this is not the first time.
This is kind of bold though, you know.
Of course it is.
What's going on here is every municipality is incredibly staffed because of cap. So when they're doing when other jurisdictions and municipalities are doing their budgeting, they're in the same place we are, trying to squeeze everything. And anything that you can, you say, all right, well, let's throw out 4%.
Yeah, and
So,
they also asked us for a tax reduction of their water facility, a large tax reduction.
yeah, so, I mean, we don't have to decide tonight. I just threw out the 0.19% numbers, feeling like that's, it's more than what the cap is. I don't doubt that they really need the money, to fund their,
Sure.
to fund their
Yeah.
departments, and they honestly, and I think they're critical and provide, really important services to the community. 4%, annually, I think puts us in a difficult position, but if we were at 1.19, it's affordable and sustainable. And they won't, I don't even know if they'll go with it. We could approve it at 0.19%, but they might say, no,
Do
we
you
can't
mean
do this.
1.9%?
Yes, 1.9%. 0.19% of the,
No.
Well, should we table these? Should we send them a counter? What do you?
What do you think is appropriate?
I think it's October, and if we table it till November and we get a number, we don't like it. If we feel relatively comfortable with the 1.9%, then we should offer it. And if it doesn't come back, if they say no, then we can have continuing discussions in November, potentially invite them to come in.
Yeah, I think that would be a
Absolutely.
good idea. I
Yeah.
think that'd be a great idea to approach it that way.
And you gotta remember, they're volunteer led, they serve more than one municipality, we're one of, 5 to 7 for some of them, so,
No, I think that's good. I think we send them a counter and say, hey, listen, this is what we can fit in our budget cap, don't have to tax that. Okay, I appreciate that. What do you think, Betty?
I agree. But
Okay.
I still would like to have some comments that.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see.
Give us a
I'm certainly
breakdown or
not
whatever, what the money's used for.
questioning their ability to, the performance level is very high is what I'll say.
They-
I think
they
they
are.
do a great job.
yeah. I mean, for St. Johnsville, the contract is what, $3,000? I don't wanna make them feel like that we are making them jump through hoops. But certainly for Canjo, it's 30,000, and that's substantial, and also even, Freda's the largest one. We don't need to negotiate a contract anytime soon, but that's,
Do you remember how much they increased theirs for the next 3 years?
last contract, I think I signed that one, like, the first time it came into office.
I'd have to pull out the contracts. I could pull them out if you wanna see them right now. You wanna see them? I'll go get them.
We just did-
Yeah, I don't
If
mind
you
getting
could,
them.
Thank you.
It's only
it would
one
be
piece of
nice,
paper.
thank you.
It's a comparison, right?
And Linda, we just did Fort Plain and did negotiate that
Yep.
one.
Budget amount of
When you say Fort Plain, do they actually have a volunteer fire department?
Yes, Fort Plain is a fully volunteer fire department, as does everybody else in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the only fire department in the area.
Even Ames has it.
They're all
Volunteer, yes, Rural Grove, all of them. I don't,
No.
the only paid one might be in Johnstown and Amsterdam, I believe.
Oh, yeah, no, I get
This
that.
is the Freitas. January, 1st, 16 to December 31st, 23,000. And for January 17, ending December 17, December 24,500. So that jumped up 1,500 in Ephrata.
Okay.
Fort Plain was 32,000 this year, and 33,000 for 2017. So that jumped up 1,000.
So they were more, what was that, 5% on one?
It was 30, it went from 32 to 33, and then we went from 23 to 24.5.
Yeah, so they were higher.
Went from 23 to 24.5 in Freda, and Fort Plain went from 32 to 33.
And that one was lower, that was the one we just negotiated.
Wow. Over 100, that's the next highest budget out of here after highway, was fire protection.
Well, we can get out with Kansas, not
Well, I mean,
Here's
that's
what we
the
got.
next most important service that we
Yeah.
provide.
I am sure
That they provide.
that they provide,
There's not
but
really anything
I'm
else
just
we
saying
do.
that there's, it's a big budget, and